What's going on, everybody? This has to be probably one of the worst things to happen in 2025 as far as gaming is concerned. When it comes down to pricing, that is at least. So, my thing about console gaming was that back in the day, it was always the more affordable alternative. And the reason being is I found that, well, in my opinion at least, the hardware was a lot cheaper than buying a computer, and you got a little more performance out of it. And even though you were tied into that ecosystem and whatever exclusives were on that console, you tend to had, well, a good time. And it made a lot of sense back in the day of the PS2s. I remember that my PS2 cost half as much as my computer, and the games that it played far exceeded the graphical capabilities of my PC. So my PC could only play games that were like 2D because I didn't have a graphics card. It cost twice as much. Whereas my PS2, well, we don't need any explanation over there as to how good of a library that is. So there was obviously definitely a major difference. Although the PC games were significantly cheaper, it still didn't really balance out, and I couldn't put any more money into it because I was in high school and telling my parents I needed a graphics card. Yeah, that wasn't going to go over well when I had a PS2 already. Now, with Xbox, while I'm ranting on about pricing and stuff, it comes back to Xbox raising their prices. They did it twice. First, they blamed the tariffs, and then they did it again on the hardware. The thing about this, though, is my whole take is whenever you're blaming something on tariffs, usually those tariffs tend to affect all sort of electronics across the board that are related to that. So when they raised their price the first time, anything in the world using those, or anything in America rather, using those same microchips and stuff should have also went up in price. And I'm not too sure if they did or not. I didn't unfortunately find as much or didn't do as much research into that aspect as well. And if anybody knows, please let me know down in the comment section. Speaking of which, do like the video if you enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe and all the other fun stuff. Let's keep going on into it. Now, price hike as far as Game Pass goes. It jumped from 19 to $29, or rather $20 to $30. Now, to be quite frank with you, prior to this, I would say even like last year at some point in time, Game Pass was good value for money. The trick with it though is obviously I think it was more of a bait and switch. The idea was to get so many users into the system and make them comfortable and familiar with it to the point whereby once people are already settled in and all comfortable, that's when they just skyrocket the price and be like, hey, what? You know what? This is it. This is what we need to keep the system running and the system and all of your services going. Now, my problem here, this is one, I don't game all the time. And if you're like me as well, it doesn't make any sense to keep spending $30 every month. On top of that, it is possible for you in this day and age to buy a used AAA game for $10. I bought Red Dead Redemption 2 for $10, and I bought this like 2 years ago. I still haven't played it yet. Although it's sitting in my collection for the PlayStation 4, I haven't touched it. It's nice to have it there because I know if I want to sell it, I can still get $10 for it. So I can get my money back out of it. You can play your games at your own leisure, you can sell them and get your money back, and then recycle that money into getting other games. Now, with Game Pass, you can't do that. Once you pay for it, you kind of forced to play because if you don't, then your money for that month is basically sunk. On top of that, if you're a working class person, you don't have the time to play. I remember when I used to have a job, it was so difficult to play any video game because you have like maybe half an hour at a time to play. And that's if you're lucky. Sometimes you'd go like maybe 3 or 4 days without touching any video games. And you have to like remember where you left off from. And when you're having a good time, sometimes it cuts into your sleep. And that's it. You wake up for work the next day, you're miserable. You just don't want to go in. It was always like an uphill battle. Now, to pay $30 a month, the world isn't getting cheaper. The things are just really, really expensive. Used games is effectively where a lot of people used to live when they were a thing, not as much as now as they are now. As far as the games go, the other situation we have with it though is the attractive part about Game Pass is obviously the first party studio games tend to launch on Game Pass like day one, like Doom: The Dark Ages, for example, what is available there day one. Now, okay, from a financial perspective, if you only want to play Doom and you've set aside the time to pay $30 and do it, I'd understand that. But previously, this was $20. An extra $10 for this, and you work it out over a year. What does that work out to? So let's just say, what's that? 12 times 30, you're looking at $360 a year. That, if I remember correctly, is slightly more or around the same price as buying an Xbox Series S. But also, think about it this way. For 300 or whatever it costs you to get an Xbox Series S, you can build a low tier 1080p machine, and you can go onto Steam and get like 90% off all the games or 95% off the games. If you want to risk it, it's a bit dicey. You can go to G2A and buy games from there. You get Humble Bundle every week. Epic Games give you 2 free games if you're comfortable with them. There's a whole long list of things that you can do to get games at a reasonable price and at a reasonable setup cost. And on top of that, you can play them whenever you feel like. You're not tied down into a subscription. Now, obviously, they've got different variants to this, so different tiers. You got $10 for what is called the core level plan, but is now rebranded to essential. You got the standard plan, which is $15 a month, rebranded to premium. The PC Pass was $12. That's now $16.49, and then Game Pass Ultimate, which is $30. Now, as far as it goes, obviously, there's going to be some sort of justification for this. Xbox is, well, Microsoft rather, is giving you the excuse that obviously it reflects the benefits. That's why it's getting a little bit more expensive. And also, you gain access to Ultimate players, that is, gain access to Ubisoft Plus Classics, more day one releases, and expanded cloud streaming options. I'm sure cloud streaming options is something that everybody wants. To be quite frank with you, I want my physical game to work offline without an internet connection, and I want to get as far away from the company as I can once I've purchased it. It belongs to me. I don't have any dealings with you, and I want to call it a day. Like that's where our like connection or our relationship ends. I purchased it, and that's it. I don't want to hear from you ever again. But unfortunately, that's not where the situation goes. Now, every year, if you live in the used PC game or PC hardware market, $360 a year is a hell of a lot of, well, hardware upgrades if you look in the right places, mainly e-waste centers or people just throwing away old hardware. You can pick up a few RAM sticks here and there, like really dirt cheap, like sometimes like $5 and stuff for like a RAM stick, or $10 depending on the size of it. A GPU, a $360 GPU, from what I understand, you get an Intel B580, which is like $250. It is somewhat of an entry level card at this stage, but it plays a long list of AAA titles at 1080p, and get this, you can buy games from Steam. You can buy from GOG, that good old games. When you buy a game from them, you own it, so it's yours. Like, go home, like that's it. Perfect relationship ever. When I look at this, all I can tell you is that unfortunately, it seems that Microsoft is basically trying to kill off. I don't their whole system, I would think. They're basically trying to probably kill off the hardware for Xbox and the software as well. Like, what are they thinking doing this? $30 every month. I want you to understand that means you can purchase 6 AAA games every year, which will probably take you, if you're a working class individual, around 2 months to actually finish it. If you want to like properly like 100% it. And then you could probably sell it off for like even like $40 in the second month and still make back your money and save $20. So this is something that I used to do as well a long time ago. If I was really, really desperate to play a AAA game like really early, I would buy the game, I would play it, finish it as quickly as possible, usually within a week when I had the time to do it. And then I would like sell it for $10 less than what I purchased. So if I bought it for $60, I'd sell it for $50, and I would only lose 10. Or you would go and you would rent the game if you could. So, in some cases, it's like a try before you buy type of situation. Maybe you'll rent it for like $3 for a day, and then you'll be like, okay, I want to buy this game, and you go and you buy it. So there was also that as well. But as far as pricing goes, $30 a month on gaming, which you may or may not use, is pretty steep in my opinion, especially when you take into account that the Xbox Series S is a digital only console, and that this service was basically geared towards it, or was tailor-made for that, or rather the other way around. The console was tailor-made for the service. So now that everybody is basically, I think, dipped their toes in it and have been swimming in it for so long, it's about time to jump out, because now you're starting to realize you're swimming with alligators and they're really hungry and they want a piece of your meat. That didn't sound right, but they want those buns, those meat buns from you. So let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Will you pay $30 a month for the full package, will you even bother with Game Pass? I mean, are you going to go back to PC? Are you going to try to look for an alternative? Will you probably go back to buying physical games again and then selling them off to make some money back? What are your thoughts on this? I'm really, really curious. Please let me know down in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share all the other fun stuff. You have a good day and goodbye.